Y'all, Shirley Strawberry is finally breaking her silence after all the chaos surrounding her husband, Ernest Williams. And it's not looking good. Shirley came under serious fire a while back when it was revealed that Ernest wasn't just shady, he was out here scamming people and cheating on her. Yep, not only did he have a whole side chick, but it also came to light that he had been lying to Shirley herself and allegedly scamming her too. It was a total mess that nearly destroyed her career and reputation. It's now been over a year since everything hit the fan, but sadly, it doesn't look like Shirley has fully bounced back. So, what exactly happened to Ernest? And is Shirley still standing by him after everything? Let's break it down. Shirley and Ernest had been married for a few years, and on the surface, things seemed fine. But behind closed doors, it was a toxic situation. When the drama first exploded, a lot of people started wondering if Shirley really knew what she was getting into when she married him. Truthfully, the relationship always seemed a little off, even from the beginning. Remember when he proposed to her live on air during the Steve Harvey morning show? Shirley didn't even recognize his voice at first. Looking back, that should have been the first major red flag. Now, with Shirley finally speaking out, everyone's watching closely to see what her next move will be.
The woman that you about to ask me this question about, do you love her? Okay then, Shirley.
Yes.
This your man right here. What?
It's a mess though.
Wait a minute.
There had already been whispers about Shirley Strawberry possibly rushing into her marriage just for the sake of being married, and honestly, it's starting to look like those whispers were right on the money. As it turns out, there was a lot Shirley didn't know about Ernest Williams before tying the knot. He had a wild past, complete with a lengthy criminal record that dates all the way back to the 1980s. Yep, Ernest had been in and out of legal trouble for decades. And just when you'd think he might have left that lifestyle behind, he picked up multiple felony charges in the early 2000s. So no, he hadn't really changed. It's not entirely clear how Ernest and Steve Harvey became friends, but at some point, they did, and Steve decided to play matchmaker by introducing Ernest to Shirley. Even if Shirley wasn't aware of the full extent of Ernest's criminal background, she was aware of some of his legal troubles. Still, she chose to believe in him. She truly thought he was ready to turn his life around, and for a while, it looked like he had. Ernest kept himself out of trouble and opened an upscale barbershop in Atlanta, not your average neighborhood spot, but one that catered to celebrities and wealthy clients. On top of that, he launched a company providing unarmed security services. From the outside looking in, everything seemed legit. The businesses looked successful, the money was flowing, and Shirley and Ernest appeared to be living their best life, but everything came crashing down in 2022. That year, Ernest was arrested on fraud charges and exposed for running a massive scam operation with a woman named Erica King. According to reports, 57-year-old Ernest Williams and 46-year-old Erica King posed as business consultants and convinced people to pay for their so-called expertise. They pitched themselves as experts who could help grow brands, boost social media followings, and even align clients with life coaches or spiritual missions. But it was all a scam. Ernest hadn't changed at all, he'd just gotten more strategic, using flashy side businesses to cover his tracks. And here's the kicker, he almost got away with it. The whole thing started to unravel only because he got sloppy. What brought him down? A rental fraud investigation. Ernest and Erica had rented a house literally right next door to the one he shared with Shirley. But after just a few months, they stopped paying rent. 4 months went by with no payments, and the landlord finally reported them, triggering an investigation. Now, you're probably wondering, why would Ernest even need a second house next door? The answer: messy. According to rumors, Erica wasn't just his scam partner, she was also his side chick. Yep, he was allegedly sneaking around with her, hiding her in plain sight. A scammer and a cheater? This man really couldn't pick a struggle. Once police began digging into the rental fraud situation, they took a deeper look at Ernest and Erica's finances, and that's when everything started falling apart. The numbers weren't adding up at all, and the more investigators looked, the worse it got. Eventually, authorities uncovered that the duo had scammed more than a dozen people out of nearly $1 million. It's a tragic situation all around. Shirley believed she had found love and stability, but what she really got was deception, betrayal, and a husband living a double life right next door.
Police say their investigation first started at this home on Pine Grove Road months ago. Investigators say after Williams and King hadn't paid rent for a while, detectives started looking into their financial transactions, and it led them to their extensive scheme.
Though it's still unclear whether Shirley Strawberry knew exactly what Ernest Williams was up to with his shady businesses, she made a move that had people raising eyebrows. Just a couple of weeks before Ernest got caught, Shirley suddenly removed his name from the deed to her California home. That decision, whether made out of instinct, mistrust, or inside knowledge, ended up protecting her assets once the authorities came knocking. Some believe she sensed something was coming. Others think she never fully trusted Ernest to begin with. Either way, it was a smart move, because what came next was devastating. Ernest was booked on 5 felony counts of conspiracy. 2 of the charges were eventually dismissed, but his bond was still set at $15,000. That wasn't all, he was also hit with 3 more charges: theft by taking, fraudulent operation of credit repair services, and theft by deception. But his scams ran deeper than fake business consultations. According to court documents, Ernest would also target legitimate businesses, making purchases or requesting services, then simply never paying. One charge detailed how he obtained car repair services valued between $1,500 and $5,000 and knowingly failed to pay, with clear intent to deceive. And just when you think this mess couldn't get any worse, it absolutely did. As the police dug deeper into Ernest's shady dealings, what they found was far more disturbing than fraud. Investigators uncovered highly inappropriate and explicit material involving minors. If you catch the drift, you know this went from criminal to horrifying in seconds, but it didn't stop there. Ernest was later accused of sexually assaulting at least 11 minors. The court has since ordered him to stay away from all alleged victims, their families, and anyone connected to them. And if that wasn't devastating enough, one of the victims was reportedly Shirley's own daughter, her only child. Even worse? Ernest was also accused of assaulting the daughter's 2 young children. That's Shirley's grandkids. The horror is almost too much to process. And then it somehow gets creepier. Ernest has been legally ordered to stay away from all animals. That detail has led many to believe that something unspeakable may have happened involving animals. While cruelty alone wouldn't necessarily earn a court-ordered lifetime ban, the implications of this restriction suggest something far darker, though we won't spell it out here. At this point, you'd think Shirley would have cut all ties, right, wrong. Shockingly, Shirley stood by Ernest even after all this came to light. Not only did she remain loyal, but she also begged the court to release him, saying she did not consider herself a victim and wanted him to be allowed to return home. In official court documents, Shirley stated, "I have been told that in one or more of the cases pending before the court I have been identified as either a victim of his or witness to a purported criminal act of his. To which I respond that I am neither. It is my intention that the court know that I wish for him to be released with no conditions as regards me. That I wish for him to be able to reside with me or wherever he elects to reside, and that his release be effectuated immediately." Yes, you read that correctly. After all the horror, Shirley still wanted him released to her home, but it gets even worse. According to one of the prosecutors involved in the case, he overheard Shirley begging Ernest to let her help him escape to Dubai, allegedly suggesting he could hide out at Steve Harvey's house there. Whether that's true or not remains under investigation, but the claim alone sent shockwaves through fans and media alike. This situation has gone from scandalous to unspeakable, and many are now left wondering, how deep does Shirley's loyalty really go? And at what cost?
Prosecutor overheard Shirley telling him, "You could go to Steve's place in Dubai, where his son Winton lives, in lay low."
And I'm almost sure that she just didn't invite her husband to go over there without Steve's.
So, it turns out Shirley wasn't just defending Ernest, she was reportedly trying to help him escape. For context, Dubai doesn't have an extradition treaty with the US, meaning if Ernest had fled there, he could have avoided facing charges. Altogether, fans dragged Shirley for standing by him, calling her out for being loyal to a man accused of terrible crimes. But after some time, Shirley finally spoke out, revealing that she was divorcing Ernest. She explained that the letter she wrote to the judge asking for his release was written before she knew the full extent of his actions. At that time, she believed it was only a fraud case, which is why she stood by him and requested his freedom. However, once the horrifying accusations involving her daughter, grandchildren, and animals came to light, everything changed. Shirley wasted no time announcing that she was ending her marriage and moving on from Ernest for good.
Steve, I'm gonna just start by saying that my estranged husband is in jail. He's been in jail for over a year, since about right after the 4th of July of 2022.
For obvious reasons, fans didn't buy Shirley's claims and thought she was just fronting to save face after getting dragged for standing by Ernest. After the drama died down, most of us moved on, until she recently came forward with an update. And unfortunately, things aren't as good as we hoped. On the bright side, Shirley did finalize her divorce from Ernest last year. But behind the scenes, things took a turn for the worse. Despite Steve Harvey keeping her on as a co-host of the Steve Harvey Morning Show, multiple reports say Shirley has been struggling financially. Her husband's legal troubles, fraudulent activities, and the debts she's had to cover have taken a serious toll. In fact, Shirley was reportedly homeless in 2022 before friends stepped in to help her get back on her feet. According to sources, she's slowly recovering both financially and emotionally, but the road ahead is still long. It's hard to watch her go through all of this, but at least she seems to be making progress, and honestly, the only way from here is up. What do you think? Drop your thoughts below, and check out the next video for more.